Okay, welcome back to A to Z Sports. Andrew Goldstein, Zach Weiss, Colston, Cooper, here all with you today on this beautiful Wednesday before Thanksgiving break. We have a special guest in for our Point Park Sports segment. Normally we try to get a Point Park athlete in or Kevin Taylor in to talk a little bit about Point Park Sports, but today we have, and we're glad to have, Zach Weiss. The Zach Weiss.
Yeah, I wanted to try to get Tony Grenick, the women's basketball coach, on. Unfortunately, they had a game today. That's the way things worked out. And again, that's why our show was kind of altered today in terms of timings because of the whole basketball thing. It's rare that you'll see this happen on our show. Usually it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, as our fine sports director Kevin Calhoun and play-by-play for the men's basketball team Kevin Calhoun described. But unfortunately, this is just one of those Wednesdays where it didn't work out, and I was able to negotiate so we could get our show going and get as much as we could. So glad to be here talking about all things National, Point Park, and Pittsburgh sports like we always do here on A to Z Sports.
All right, well, Zach, well, you've been covering the women's volleyball beat the entire season so far. I think you've had an article on every Globe that's come out so far.
Yep.
And they're going to the Nationals in Indiana this weekend. Who are they playing? You know, what's it kind of look like? You know, what's going on with the team? What's the latest this week?
The latest is that right now they're working really hard to try and prepare for 17th ranked in the NAIA, Indiana Tech. Indiana Tech is a very disciplined team. They have a 33-5 record, including a 9-0 conference record. If you want to look at it from a local angle, among the teams they've defeated are Robert Morris, and I believe Robert Morris is a decent volleyball team. So Point Park will definitely have their hands full. But upon talking to all the players, they're all really excited to go to Nationals. Again, as I said in the sports update, the first time they've been to NAI Nationals in the tournament's 21-year history. Obviously, their big hitters are going to be huge, namely Brittany Loda, Lindsay Oberacker. The defense is going to be just as huge. The triumvirate there, libero Alyssa Hall, and defensive specialist Amanda Ardinger and Margaret M.J. Galuli will be very huge in this matchup. As long as the team can play to their capabilities and and outsmart the other opponents using their mental game the way that they have, I could see this match really going right down to the wire. And if they get to this game, win this match, then who knows what the future holds for them.
No, I think you've mentioned it before, and pretty much every week or every game in the statistics, you know, you look, Lindsay Oberacker is mentioned there. You were kind of talking to me about this off the air a couple of days ago. You think she's going to be the AMC MVP this season?
Oh, without question. I mean, the only person that potentially has a case against her would be Julianne O'Donnell, and she's from Walsh. But Walsh has been trying to get Division II acceptance these past couple years. So Oberacker's won more Player of the Weeks, and Walsh was not able to make the AMC playoffs because of this new rule and them trying to seek admittance into this other conference division to become a Division II team. So all signs point to Lindsay Oberacker being the AMC MVP. She already was named All-District with her, I believe she has a 3.9 grade point average. So the fact that she's able to captain this team and show as much spirit as she has, she's really a true leader. You know, with her play, she can dive. Just don't be fooled by her size. She's not afraid to get down and dive for a ball and save the point. She's not afraid to make a little spike. So huge on this team, and she also studies hard too, as hard as she plays even. New career high, I believe, with the amount of kills she had. Because Point Park Service isn't working, I don't have the number off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I think it's probably in the 600s or 590 or somewhere around there. But a true leader on this team, and she wants it as much, if not more, than anybody on the floor in any given game. She just has a huge amount of energy, and the team really feeds off her, and I think she also in turn feeds off on the team as well.
Now there's been some great atmospheres for the home, in the Student Center, 5th floor of the Student Center gym, playoff games we've had recently, and you covered them for both the Twitter feed and for the Globe, as well as, obviously wppj. We're here right now. So what's the atmosphere in there like, and do you see the players feeding off the atmosphere, at least when they were able to play in the Student Center the past three matches?
The players in the Student Center, it speaks for itself. They only dropped one set in the Student Center. They've not lost in the Student Center. As I said on Twitter during the AMC Finals when they were playing against Damon, to describe the atmosphere, I described it very much like a March Madness kind of an atmosphere. It was very incredible. Kevin Taylor, our esteemed sports information / athletic director, said that 350 plus people, it was 200 people at the Holy Names match on Saturday, rather, to play in for nationals. But it was, I think it was a lot more than that. The seats were filled. People were actually asked to get up from where they were sitting because they were filling the service lines. It was a standing room only crowd, and they really feed off that. The more the fans are in it, the more the fans are in it, the more the players are into it. And that's not saying they're not into it before; they're already fired up as it is. But they just really feed off that crowd energy. And when they feed off that crowd energy and really play to their full potential, I don't think anybody can beat them.
Well, I think that's just the way it is really in every sport, and it's great to see Point Park fans get out and support all the teams as they normally do. Zach, I heard you had the opportunity to go to Indiana this weekend with the team, maybe room with a special person. You know, I understand you turned down that offer, but you know, it would have been nice to, you know, get out there and kind of do that. What are your thoughts on if you had the opportunity to go out there and you know, do that, cover the team on the road? Would you ever consider doing it in the future?
Would I consider doing it in the future? Yes, I would love to cover the team on the road as long as various circumstances permit. This drive based on MapQuest is going to be a 6-hour-plus drive, something that I, from a health perspective right now, not being in the best of health, probably is not in my best interest to go. However, the team, I know somebody will be trying to go with the team. It's a lengthy trip. It's a very exhausting trip, and being as far behind sleep as someone as I am, it's probably not in my best interest. But believe me, I know that there's tons of people that will be rooting on the Pioneers from Point Park University. There's a live feed where people can pay to watch the match. There's live stats that'll be up. That's definitely something that's a possibility. Indiana Tech might be bringing their radio crew down there, and there's a chance for a live broadcast that way, and you can hear what's going on that way. So there's still ample opportunity, if you can't make the bus trip, to follow these Point Park Pioneer volleyball teams and see what they can do and see if they can continue their nice story here and continue to, in the good name of Point Park, further Point Park here and move on to the next round of the NAIA tournament. It'll be interesting to see.
Well, that's kind of just what I was going to ask. If they do end up winning this match here this weekend, where do they go next? Do they play more games this weekend, or how will it continue until they can, you know, win more and more until possibly a championship?
It's just this one game for right now. I believe next weekend or perhaps after Thanksgiving there's more matches. It's much more of a towards the end of the month kind of a thing, is where it's all built up to. If one of the players, one of the coaches were in here, I could confirm that. Again, internet's not working, so I'm not 100% sure, with understandable reasons, but at the same point, Point Park was ranked 32nd, also known as others receiving votes for the volleyball polls, so definitely they feel they have something to prove, and I think the critics aren't rating them as high as teams in the top 25, many of whom have double-digit losses, and a case could be made, the Y's in Point Park in the top 25, and I'm sure a lot of those people that see it, they don't watch their games, but at the same point they go by record and they go by conference, and you have Houghton and you have Carlo, who combined for 2 wins in conference, and if you're looking at the strength of conference, that's not going to help. Roberts Wesleyan, okay, but I mean a bubble team. Walsh couldn't play, that kind of goes against them. Damon probably helped them a little bit, but again, the reason why them and Holy Names had to do a play-in match was they didn't have enough teams officially to go straight to nationals, and that caused a play-in game. Unfortunately for Holy Names, being a California-based team, they had to come here when it was initially thought that it was going to be met at a neutral site. It was at the Student Center, and Point Park prevailed in 4 sets, thus earning their trip to nationals. But a tough break for them, but for Point Park, they'll take it. They're 32nd ranked right now, as I said earlier in this answer, and they're playing the 17th ranked team at the 17th ranked team, and they're definitely battle-tested. They've been on the road a lot facing some tough teams. They faced Cal U, a Division II team, and they're a very elite program, a very good program for Division II volleyball. So Point Park knows also when they lost against Gannon, another intense atmosphere where they had a dig cancer game, and they had a decent record to show for it. Point Park ended up losing that match in a tough 5-setter. So I think they know how to play in a hostile environment. The question is, I think it's going to come down to the mental game, and Point Park's had a pretty good mental game so far this year, and their depth is also really good. Any player pretty much can come off that bench and get a point for the team. So as long as their depth stays true, and as long as they outsmart the other team with using the mental capacity and using the mental aspect of the game, then I think this could be a very, very interesting and informative match.
Any prediction on the match?
I don't know enough about Indiana Tech to give you an honest prediction. To be honest with you, I haven't seen them play. I mean, I know Point Park has to have seen matches to see them play. They saw a Holy Names match. I did stats for them as well. The Indiana Tech has some impressive hitters. If you look at A to Z Sports wppj on Twitter, I have some information on who leads in kills and everything, but their numbers are pretty impressive. They're a pretty impressive bunch. I think Point Park will have a tough time, but I think that there's a very high potential that they could get this W and get this win, and I think the only team that can beat them is themselves, and that's, in volleyball, a very easy possibility to do.
Alright, well, switching gears here, good coverage of the volleyball team there. I think that was a really good overview of what we're going to hopefully be seeing, resulting in a win this weekend in Indiana.
Your stomping grounds, kind of.
Well, kind of my stomping grounds. I mean, my mom used to live there back in the 80s, and she went to Indiana University, so, but that's a while back, but yeah, Indiana's a nice place, and you said it takes 6 hours to get there?
Usually, but if you're Andrew's dad, it's 4.
If you're Andrew's dad, it's 3.5, but what you gonna do? Anyhow, let's move on to the basketball teams. The men's and women's are both playing tonight. Let's, talk about their season, or can you talk about their season, both of the teams, a little bit so far?
Well, ladies first. The ladies right now are, if I remember correctly, 1-2. They lost one last night by 11 points. A tough game. Interesting to see what they can do in year 1 of the Tony Grenick experience. For those of you who are just being introduced to the basketball team, Tony Grenick was the assistant coach at Seton Hill University and came over here after Sam Kasanovich decided to resign and focus his efforts on the Student Center. He also has a new assistant coach, him being the new head coach here, Tony Grenick. Austin and Peterkin, April Austin and Jocelyn Peterkin are 2 key returnees, a couple key returnees there, and also Kristen Beatty's a huge returnee also, as is, speaking of huge, the second tallest player, Anna Maria Boshkova is also a returnee, but he again, being Grenick here, has made a couple of key recruits here. He's brought in some people such as Emily Schartner, who can come in and score right away. And the only complaint that I'm sure a lot of people have that follow is he kind of drafted mid-range, 5'6", 5'7" players. He recruited one taller player, and that's a little bit of a concern. The team right now is 1-2. I guess they're still getting acclimated to how he runs things. I mean, again, under the Sam Kasanovich era, the team's finally started to get at or above 500, and it'll be interesting to see if Point Park can get that done this time. It'll be a very tall task, but again, at the same point, it's a very wide open AMC conference, so it very well could be done. I think they're projected 3rd in the conference, so that should be interesting. We'll see what tonight's match brings. As for the men won last night behind a career high for Devon Alexander, 30 points. His previous high was 26 points as a freshman in the system. I believe they currently have 2 wins as well right now. So it's very tough. As we discussed last week, overcoming the losses of Chris Dowse and Jimmy Sherwood are huge. They're huge losses. But Jimmy Taylor's really found a niche in this offense as a shooter. You look at T.J. Hetherington. He put up 33 points in Game 1. He very well could be I think this team will go as far as he takes them. And as far as he takes them will be as far as this team goes, as I said, and I feel like I just reversed what I said. I feel like I did something there, but...
You also said something about a niche.
I said niche. But the team...
Niche.
Tomato, tomato. But anyways, we'll see how the team does. I mean, Bob Breaker has a very fast-running offense. It's the first home game tonight, so if you can go out to West Mifflin, by all means, go out and support the team. Again, it should be a very interesting contest. Can the Pioneers do back-to-back? This team's a very fast team, and Devon told me yesterday he's 80% right now, so we'll have to see what the team can do. But with their big men, that could pose a problem. Dante Anglin's finally starting to put it together on the offensive side, just a little bit more consistency, and we'll see what we can do. And it'll be interesting to see what we can do, we being the basketball teams. Again, it's wide open in both AMC conferences, and they're both expected to finish 3rd, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens this basketball season, but hopefully the fans will come out and support just like they did with a lot of the other fall sports teams.